Thank you all so much for joining. I know we have almost 60 individuals on the session and more coming in. And before we dive into our agenda, I don't know about y'all, but it's been a hectic day. It's been a hectic week. And so one thing that just really helps me as a human being, not even like VPCS, but just as a human, is breathing exercises. So I was joking with the team that I want to start us off with deep breathing exercises, but I always think like if it's helpful for me, it might be helpful for everybody else. So we're going to do some breathing. It's not going to take long, but just to kind of take a minute to catch our breath. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to do it. We're going to do 3 rounds and it's super simple, but it just helps kind of calm the nerves, relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw. You're probably like, I didn't even know I was clenched and up, but relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw. We're going to breathe in for 4. We're going to hold it for 4, breathe out for 6. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 6, and 3 rounds of that. So I'm going to walk you all through it. And just follow along again, giving us just a minute to catch our breaths amidst the hecticness of this week and 2022. So are we ready? Yes. Okay. In for 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, 3, 4. Out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, 3, 4, out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in for 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, 3, 4, out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we ready to tackle the world now? Right? It helps, right? Amidst the craziness. So I just want to thank y'all again for joining me, for breathing with me. And I'm joined by some amazing colleagues who are really going to lead this session and facilitate. And I just really want to set the foundation for this session. When we agreed to do this in December, it was a very different situation than where we're at right now. And so I know that our colleagues in college services and HR and facilities, we've been really shepherding alongside everybody across the campus a successful and safe return to campus over a couple semesters, couple years now. I will say that spring 2022 has been one of the more challenging starts. And so we have a lot of answers to a lot of questions, and we're going to share those. But we also have a lot of questions that don't necessarily have the clarity or the answers that we need at this time. And so we're going to walk you through what we know. And then there will be time, especially around the quarantine guidelines, where we're just going to ask that y'all please be patient with us, understanding with us, and just give us your feedback. Give us your questions that you have right now based on the guidance. Give us, feedback that you have at this time, and we're going to log that, document it, and then work to incorporate it into future process guides as we really work to fully deploy all of the guidance that's been changed and released recently. And so I will say that, this week has been difficult. Last week was really hard. And there's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful for Anthony Murph, Jennifer Mejia, Lizette, Elizabeth, Sergio, and the health and safety officers, and Destiny and Sargent, who stand alongside me in this challenge. So even though it's been hard, we just have amazing colleagues, amazing leaders here who have just helped shepherd us through safely and with integrity. And so we've done that for the last 2 years. We're going to continue to do that. And we just really ask for everyone's grace and patience as we try to navigate these changes and this extraordinarily challenging semester. And just thank y'all for your understanding. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues.
Good afternoon, everyone. So when Murph and I were brainstorming, just really trying to figure out, we're going to go level 1. This is great. Easy presentation. Let's move forward. Like Catherine said, we're like, awesome. We met Monday and we're like, okay, this isn't the way it's going to turn out to be. what information should we provide? And Murph, I would always tell my team, don't work harder, work smarter. And he's like, let's do the presentation we did when we did the train the trainer. I said, you're right. It's a collaborative. Let's get everyone, all the key personnel that have been working through this, the questions that we've had in the past. And this is the train the trainer session that we had in the summer, where we're kind of getting everyone familiar with the spaces and the new protocols and the questions they had. And we just had all the key individuals there to be able to answer those questions. So we figured this was the best route to go for this as well, because I think we all have probably the same questions. We all might have most of the answers, some of the answers, or none of the answers, right? But this is the purpose of this session today, so we can kind of figure those things out for each and every one of you, right? So what I did is I went ahead and included the group again, which is Anthony Mirth and Destiny Moreno for events, because I know events was a big piece last year. Sed Hill, Sergeant Ramirez, Lizette, and Elizabeth is joining us this year as well. So I really appreciate if you can just take your time. We can either, what I did on the next few slides, I added just some questions that have been coming our way right now. And we can try to get those general questions and answers. If there's additional questions after I think Murph is first up. If there's additional questions, chat them in. So we have that documented and we're able to answer them after he's done. We'll answer them during this time. If not, we'll get back to you on those pieces. So just give us some time to kind of give us the areas that we know that it's come the questions we're listening. We're trying to figure it out, and we're going to try to bring that information to you today. So just be patient, like Catherine said, and then we'll go ahead and move this along. And it shouldn't be too long, but let's go ahead and see what we got here. So I'll turn it over to Murph, and I'll have him go over this. And this is just a reference slide, just y'all can reference off the information, but he'll go ahead and go through those pieces. If you need him to pause and have a little more detailed explanation, just raise your hand through the chat, and then we'll go ahead and call on you, and then we'll ask you to go ahead and ask the question that's needed. Okay, thank you.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Anthony Murph, the coordinator of college risk management. For those of you that do not know me, I usually just go by Murph. So one of the things I want to start out with is that I'm really glad to be here. And I was looking at the faces and I almost know everyone on here. So that is amazing. So I am very happy about that. So the other thing that I want to say is that I project my voice. So if you see me out in the hallway and you have a conversation with me, it's not that I'm angry, it's not that I'm mad. It's just that, because I was in the military for a long time, and that's one of the first things they taught us is, make sure when you're in front of an audience, you project your voice. So doing this presentation, I just speak loud because I want everyone to hear, okay? So my first thing that we're going to talk about the contact tracing and the new guidelines. So my employee is sick. That's one of the things that phone calls I get, emails I get, my employee is sick. This is what I'm requesting. So as supervisors, as colleagues, as employees, you don't have to call me to inform me that your employee is sick. Okay. So if your employee is sick, as a supervisor, the first thing you should do is make sure that employee stays home. Ask them questions. Whether or not it's the flu, whether it's COVID, it could be anything. Have them stay home. If you feel that it's COVID, have them fill out a COVID incident report form. But there's no need to call me just to say, hey, Murph, I have an employee that's sick. What do I do? All right, next thing. I've tested positive for COVID-19. Do I need to report it to Alamo colleges? Yes, or excuse me, Palo Alto College. I apologize, Palo Alto College. Yes, you do need to report it to Palo Alto College. Why do you need to report it? And we may not have adjuncts on here or students, but I want to make sure that adjuncts are aware. Adjuncts, students, employees, contractors, everyone needs to report it to Alamo colleges. The reason why we need you to report it is because so we can do contact tracing. We want to make sure that we notify everyone that has been in contact with you so that we can continue to have a safe environment for everyone to return to work and we don't have to shut down. We can continue operations. So that is one of the main reasons. Another question is, what is the web address? So maybe about 2 years ago, we started a website called the the PAC Return to Campus Plan, and it's real easy to get to. All you have to do is in your Google, if you use Google, Chrome, if you use Chrome or if you use Internet Explorer, just type in there PAC RTC and it'll pull it right up. Everything that you need to know about our Return to Campus Plan is on that page. It doesn't matter what it is. Marcom did a wonderful job of piecing that together. And if you scroll down to the bottom, they have a frequently asked questions section. And whatever question you can think about that has to do with our Return to Campus Plan, it's down there. You can just click on it and it will give you additional information. All right. I have tested positive. Hopefully I didn't do it. Oh, I missed to put that on there twice. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize about that. I'm gonna have to fix that. So once it's been determined that you have COVID-19 or you've come in close contact with someone that is COVID-19 positive, and you fill out a COVID incident form, or if you go to our community lab site here on campus in Student Center 130, and you receive a positive COVID-19 test result, the first thing we need you to do is go to the Return to Campus page. At the bottom of the Return to Campus page, it says, there's a little frequently asked question, do I need to report it? Click on there, and right there is the COVID incident report form. Click on there and just fill out all that information. Once you fill that information out, it comes directly to me. I will respond to you. Correction, it's update. Let me update that. So I will respond to you, or Savannah Moss will respond to you. Okay, so we're the two contact tracers that are currently here for Palo Alto College. All right. So right now we're having a high volume of COVID incident reports. So it may take us a few days to get to you. What we ask is please be patient and do not return to campus until you hear from us, okay? So right now we're able to work remote. So just continue to work remote, continue to work with your supervisor, continue to update your supervisor until myself or Savannah Moss is able to contact you, all right? So what to do? File a report, notify. So once you file your report, your COVID incident report form, and I receive it, one of the next most important thing that I need you to do, and a lot of people are great at doing this, notify your supervisor. Please let your supervisor know what is going on. If you have conversation with me, please let your supervisor know what conversation we're having, okay? Let them know the return to campus date that I give you. Let them know that Murph said he'll follow up with me in X amount of days. Just let them know that so that they are aware of what's going on. You don't want to keep your supervisors blind to what your current situation is, because they are your best asset during this time. And then it says, what you want to do is you want to wait for me to release you back to work, okay? So for me, in order for me to release you back to work, one of the things you're going to get is a follow-up call from Murph. So on this follow-up call, so your very first call, this is what's going to happen. Once you're going to receive a document from me, and that document is basically going to give you some resources that you can use, some outside resources where you can go get additional tests, where you can find out information and resources for COVID-19. Then myself, I'm going to call you, or Savannah Moss is going to call you. We're going to ask you some questions just to get some information or some information so we can determine a return to campus date for you, okay? That initial return to campus date may change. It's a lot of circumstances it can depend on. And one example that I'm gonna throw out there, just to give you an example, is a household positive case. So, you know, if you have a household positive case where it's not just you positive in your household, you have a family member that is positive, okay? So you may be home for longer than 5 days because we have to wait until both you and your household positive member are feeling better. That way we can get you to return to work, okay? So those things depend on that. But once you receive that return to campus date, I will call you one day before you return to campus. And that phone call will come directly from me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, hey, how you doing? And we're gonna discuss how you're feeling. Now, if you're feeling good, I'll let you return to campus. If you're not feeling good, I'm not gonna be able to let you return to campus. But one thing I do is, you know, I notify everyone that I see, all the key players that I send on that initial email chain. I respond to everyone, including your supervisor, to let them know that, hey, I contacted you. I asked you how you're feeling. You're telling me that you're still exhibiting symptoms. I can't let you return to work. Now, one thing about that, I can't, me personally, I can't answer questions about sick leave. I can't answer questions about leave. So, you know, we have HR on here. So that's one thing that you would have to take to HR, as well as your supervisor. Those are things you have to discuss with your supervisor. Okay. So I just can't answer those questions. I can just only clear you to return to campus. So with my follow-up call, what is required? One thing I'm asking, I have blocked or unknown number. Please don't call me with a blocked or an unknown number. And the reason for that is because I can't get in contact with you. And I'll get a phone call from a blocked or unknown number, and the person won't leave their name. They will say, hey, Murph, I'm calling to get cleared, or I'm not feeling well. Well, I can't return your call. So please do not do it, because I won't even answer it. I'm not going to even listen to the email. So please don't do that. Please have your number shown. You can call my office number. You can call my cell phone number. My cell phone number is on my email block. I have no issues with you calling it. Symptoms. Here's another thing. So when I call to clear you, we're going to talk about symptoms for COVID. That's it. So the hard part is, I know there's a lot of symptoms. I know everyone has allergies, but when I'm calling, all I'm asking for is, are you experiencing COVID symptoms? So we don't want to get that confused with your allergies, or if you were in a fist fight with someone and your head is hurting. Completely different than COVID. So when I call to clear you, all I'm asking, are you experiencing COVID symptoms? And that is the same thing with coming into campus to do the temperature check. So when the health and safety officer asks you if you're experiencing signs and symptoms, they're asking you about signs and symptoms for COVID, you know, not if you're having allergies and you're having the same signs and symptoms. Because if you tell them that, guess what? They're going to send you home, because we don't determine the difference between the two. We're only looking for COVID signs and symptoms, okay? Or also testing. So Alamo Colleges is very, very good with this. They don't require you a test to return to campus, okay? So it's two reasons why we don't require a test. So we trust our employees. So we trust our employees to provide us with reliable, quality, truthful information. The second reason we don't is because here at Alamo Colleges, we use community labs. Community labs, they test with a PCR test, okay? So once you've tested positive for COVID, you're not required to take a PCR test for the next 90 days. So if you take a test within that time period, you will come up positive. It happens, and it happens a lot. So we ask you not to take a test, please, okay? And then supervisor notification. Like I said, your supervisor is very, very key to this. We need your supervisor and we need you to keep your supervisor informed because of your status. So please don't, because you're quarantined, turn off your cell phone and don't keep your supervisor informed, because then your supervisor's contacting me and saying like, hey, Murph, when can Anthony return to work? I can't share your information. So what I'll do is say, hey, I provided that information to Anthony. So I don't know why Anthony hasn't shared it with you. So please, please, please keep your supervisors informed, okay? And then the last thing is, no, not the last thing. Woo, let me speed up a little bit. When can I return to campus? You can only return to campus when Murph clears you, when I clear you. You cannot return to campus until I clear you. I call every single individual on campus who tests positive for COVID or come in close contact. So please don't come to campus. If you test positive, please do not come to campus to get tested. We ask that you go to an outside site that is set up to conduct testing better than what we are. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the testing process a little bit later. Well, actually next. The COVID-19 screening PCR testing available on site. So we do have COVID-19 testing on site, and it is only for employees, students, okay? So when I say employees, that include, and Jennifer, VP Dawes, please chime in if I'm wrong, if we made any changes to that. But right now it's for employees and students, and that includes contractors who work regularly on our bases, like, and I'm gonna throw an example like UPS store, Macklemore. They are also required to use our COVID-19 testing site. So with that being said, please be patient with us. Please be nice. The reason I say that is because the health and safety officers has volunteered their time to actually train and become the lab technicians to take your swabs. So the reasoning behind that is because when we open these mega sites, when Community Lab opened the mega sites, they had to take their personnel to operate those sites. So, our leadership here at Palo Alto College decided this. Okay, so we don't want to put our employees in line with the community. For one, for safety and health reasons, and then the other, we don't want to have them waiting that long. So our leadership decided, let's continue to do it right here on campus. And so what they decided for us to do is we use the health and safety officers who have been trained and they enjoy it. They actually do the PCR swab collection right now. So we ask that you be patient with them. They've only been doing it for a week. They're doing an excellent job. It's all volunteer. They volunteered to do this, okay? So please don't take out any anger on them. They're doing their best to make sure that you are safe and your test results get collected. Will there be COVID testing and temperature check students, instructors, and employees? Yes. The answer to all of that is yes. Temperature check is going to continue until we receive further guidance from district, and we will continue with the COVID-19 testing. The dates and times have not changed, and I will show that on the next slide. And then what is my last thing that I want to say, because I know I've been taking up a lot of time. What is the process for requesting PPE, right? So the process, you can go ahead and go to that slide. That's no problem. Please go to the next slide so they can watch that slide while. Thank you very much. So that's the time and location for our COVID screening. We'll do that until VP Dawes says we're going to change those times, but that's when we're going to be doing. But PPE. So we have a lot of PPE here on campus. We're trying very hard to get all PPE requests to everyone in a timely manner. Okay. We ask that you be patient with us on that as well, because we've received a lot of requests after January the 3rd, and we're not putting the blame on you. We all just thought that things would be different in January, and it just so happened to not turn out that way. Okay. So let me reassure you, your leadership here at Palo Alto College has taken every measure necessary to ensure that we spend and use resources to collect any type of PPE, including KN95s, for the employees to ensure their safety. So we would definitely get that to you. Now, what I do ask is that you get with your division administrative assistant. They all have training, as well as a PowerPoint, as well as the document to fill out to request PPE. If you get with them, they can give you that document and they can help you fill it out. And they will collect all that PPE, those PPE forms. They'll give those PPE forms to me, and then the health and safety officers will distribute that equipment to whatever office number, or that PPE to whatever office number you put on that document. Okay? Now, Division Administrative Assistants, if you have any questions or you need some refresher training, please do not hesitate to contact me. We can talk about it, we can discuss it, and we can do some refresher training. So I apologize about taking up that much time, team, but that's all I have. So I'm gonna let the rest of my colleagues get in here. But if y'all have any questions, my email is amurf1@alamo.edu, or my cell phone number. I don't care about giving it out, 210-501-8457. Just give me a call, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Murph. Thank you so much. I know that's a lot of information, but a lot of the information we have is similar. It's similar from what we've had, a few changes here and there, but Murph is working 7 days a week, so he will contact you. So just be patient, like we mentioned. If you do, if he will contact you to give a release date and all that as well. Is there any questions so far? And if there are, you can put it in the chat, you can raise your hand, you can come off mute. Okay, right now? Okay. So the individuals I include as well, like I mentioned, I have set here because I know the cleaning protocols were a little different when we were at different levels. He just wants to kind of just refresh everyone's memory of what is still in place. So you do know what is in place and what precautionaries we're taking throughout the campus. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Sergio to summarize that piece.
My name's Sergio Rivera, and I'm the facility superintendent here at Palo Alto College. I'm behind here, Murph. It's hard to follow up with all that wealth of information, but thank you, sir, for your time and efforts. I know you put a lot of work into that. As far as the cleaning protocols, we've done a couple of different renditions with the first variant and this one now. We had an on-call list where people that were allowed to be on campus, and now that we're remote, basically what we're doing, we're going through every single space, every single day, doing our general cleaning. That has changed a little bit from what we were doing in touch point cleaning, just because the current variant is more air-driven or airstream driven than what is, it's contact based. So with that, on our HVAC side, we're still, and we're probably going to do it for the long haul, is we're still doing the MERV 13 filters, which is a medical grade filter that filters out air and particulate. So we're using that in every single space. We have all our air handlers fitted for those and currently using them. We also have more air exchanges in all our units to make sure that we get fresh air on a daily cycle to every single building. We're currently doing that. And we have Texas A&M, we have Schneider Electric. They're basically have two guys on site constantly adjusting and certifying all this equipment to make sure it's doing what we're asking it to do on that front. If you have any questions on that, or if you have areas that McLemore is still providing service with the Clorox 360. If there was somebody that was infected and it just wants to make you feel safe, that we spray the entire area, that's still possible. We're still doing that. We've done that just in the first week as well. So that just call a request to the hotline or email to myself and request that. If there's such a case that you feel that's warranted, we can certainly do that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Seti, because he's actually been doing that for the community labs testing that we're doing in the Performing Arts building. So every day after the session, he's continued to use the 360 throughout the entire building. We're only using the lobby. People are just coming in and out through there, but his team does go in there and they do use that product to clean that space on a daily basis. And I think also, Catherine, we're also adding some more of those water bottle stations, right? So we're adding, I know we only had a few of those fountains where you can fill the water bottle. So we had some funding available that we're actually adding some additional ones. There was a request through the Green Committee, was it? I can't remember, right? Yes, to the Green Committee. So we're
Steve Verde and Elizabeth
Yes.
Montgomery. Shout out to Elizabeth Montgomery
Yes.
for elevating. And we're like, yes, we can totally do this. So Sergio and Jennifer are making it work, and it's exciting because we've not been able to do it before, and it's something that's completely allowable under the federal dollars we receive. So excited to leverage those funds and be safe.
Absolutely. And then also know that within the new building, we did take these protocols into place. So we do have that, what's it called? The MERV 13, I don't know, the filter, the special filter in the new buildings. So we are doing that, implementing those items as well in the new building for our future. Well, thank you, Sergio. I don't know if there's any questions or
There was
comments.
one question from Dr. Brown, I believe. On the UV, we have several air handlers, namely in, I can't think of the name of the buildings right now, but we do have them and they're being maintained. Not all air handlers on campus have that option, but the ones that do have them, they are up and running. One that comes into mind is Gutierrez Hall, that has that option, that has a UV filter within it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So next we have is Sergeant Ramirez. And I think I have her on speed dial and I call her for anything and everything at times, but we want to make sure to know exactly what we can call her for. And if there's any concerns, because I know she's accessible and available when anything occurs. So Sergeant Ramirez, if you want to hop on and just introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Sergeant Ramirez, I'm the campus sergeant for Palo Alto College. And as far as students, employees, vendors, they are not required to wear a mask, but it is highly encouraged. If you do run across any situation where you feel like you're uncomfortable with dealing with it, whether it's students or faculty and staff, you're more than welcome to call us. We can make it out there and try to diffuse the situation. And also, if it's a student issue, we can definitely go the conduct route. And if it's an employee, we can go through HR. But for the most part, you're going to see PD wearing their mask throughout campus because we're going to do our part in helping, stop spreading this virus. But yeah, if you need anything, feel free to call us.
Thank you, Sergeant Ramirez. I know you just came back, so thank you.
I have a question.
Yes. Murph, no, you can't ask questions. You're part of the team. I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
Sarah Ramirez is my battle buddy, so I gotta ask her some questions. So Sarah Ramirez,
Yes,
I'm on campus. And there's a lot of things going on campus. And one of the things that I see is this construction. So with this construction on campus, I can't drive as fast as I used to, and I'm kind of upset because I like driving 45, 50 miles an hour so I can get to work. So because Jennifer's she's gonna hammer me if I'm late. So can I still do that? 55?
No, unfortunately, you can't. The speed limit is 10 miles per hour on campus. And you will see more PD pulling people over just because of that. We've had an issue with speeding on campus due to the construction, but just be aware that regardless of your student, faculty, or staff, if an officer pulls you over, just, work with them and let them know. But we do issue city citations. It's not just regular ticket. This, you can have a warrant on your record for it, but just be aware of the speed limit.
Absolutely. And then on the new speed bumps, we have some temporary speed bumps as well because construction is on site. So we do have the job site right across the new building. So they cross that road. So please, please, please be careful with the pedestrians. They're working and they're having to cross back and forth to their job site. And then we also have Ray Ellison drop-off center as well. Please do not park in that area. Please do not park in that area. That's the area where we have the new drop-off location for the students. So please be mindful on that as well. And just take into account any new temporary signage that we do have throughout the campus.
And real quick, just on that, on the Ray Ellison drop-off, that will take effect on the 18th, I believe, or
Yes.
the 19th. And The only two vehicles that you should see parked out there are probably the patrol units until the construction is complete. But if you see people parking there, the faster you can call us, the faster we can make contact with these people. So yeah, just let us know.
Yes, and then we do work with Marcom very closely to notify everyone if there's any road closures. So we do have that information out as well. So I appreciate Adriana and Jennifer for doing the last minute requests that I have sometimes, but we find out last minute as well. So just bear with us. We do have some small road closures at the meantime while construction is moving along. But the next, so thank you so much, Sergeant Ramirez. The next team, important team as well as everybody else, is Lizette and Elizabeth. I know they don't get any questions ever coming their way, but I figure why not? Let's bring them on in. But what I did, I went ahead and just added a general question, which this is just sometimes, and I didn't even ask. It's just kind of like, what kind of leave do I use? What can I use? Or that kind of stuff. So I added that. If there's anything else you want to add that's come your way, or you want to provide information for this team, please, this is your time. Lizette and Elizabeth, whoever would like to go first.
Well, first of all, Murph, you don't worry about Jennifer getting after you about being late. You just give me a call, Murph, okay? Just teasy. First of all, I just want to thank everybody that I've rounded with in the last, feels like I was telling Catherine 2 months, but it's only been a week and 2 weeks, right? A week and a half. And you'll see me doing a lot of that right now. Like, I just want to echo what Catherine said earlier too. This is all new. A lot of new stuff happened even for Elizabeth and I. And so what we're doing right now with our rounding the purpose, yes, we definitely want to check in and see how you're doing. I love collecting the kudos, but I'm also wanting to get those questions that you have. And there's a lot of questions. There's a long page. I think first week I had about 4 pages of questions, and I'm working with my leadership as quickly as I can to get you those answers. And I'll be working with college services as well to create something so the team has all those answers. I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth. She could, because I'm always talking too much. I'm going to turn it over to her so she can introduce herself too as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Corrales and your PAC benefits coordinator. Can you hear me okay? Yep, great. Okay, on the question of what leave do I use if I can't return to work due to COVID, the answer is sick pay is what you will code your timesheet. Now that it doesn't matter whether you are filling out a daily timesheet that you're clocking in and out, or you are exempt and only filling it out maybe once a week or once during the pay period. Sick code is what you use on the timesheet. Now, Murph is going to be the person who tells you when you are cleared to return to campus. However, if you truly are sick, or God forbid, you have to be hospitalized, you're going to need to send me a medical release that you are cleared to return to work. Any hospitalizations, COVID or otherwise, always require a medical release to come back to work. With COVID, though, if you are not sick, and hopefully everyone is able to work with their supervisor on the possibility of working remotely. So you work with your supervisor on that. If you're in a position that doesn't allow you to work remotely, then again, you're going to use sick time for that. I said, well, what if I'm out of sick time? Well, if you're out of sick time, in the payroll system, it will automatically cascade to your personal leave bucket or your vacation leave bucket. Those happen automatically in the background as long as you're coding your timesheets as with the sick code. And goes, well, that's all great, but what if I ran out of sick, I ran out of vacation, I ran out of personal? Well, in that case, unfortunately, the only thing remaining will be unpaid time. If you're in a catastrophic situation, like you're in the hospital for COVID or something, an employee can always apply for emergency sick leave for catastrophic or critically ill situations. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, by all means, send me an email. I'll be happy to get back with you and work with your case individually. Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think Murph has his hands up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, I do. I have a question for you, Elizabeth. So I'm at work and I'm an essential person. My boss Jennifer keeps telling me, hey Murph, you got to be here all the time. And then I'm in a role where I interact with, a lot of people and personnel that could possibly pass the COVID virus on to me. How does sick leave, time off, working remote affect with personnel that are essential? And I'll throw PD, IT, all those departments in there.
Like I mentioned, if an employee's in a position where they cannot work remotely because they're essential, timesheets still get coded as sick, no changes there. And if you're out of sick, it just cascades to the other leave buckets or the other pay time buckets. Does that help?
Okay, yeah, no, that helps. So my question would, and this be my last question. So, and I might be wrong. I think Alamo colleges may have used to have something like that, where personnel that were essential had some kind of benefits, and I could be wrong. But I'm just asking to see if there was something like that and we've reverted to something else, or essential personnel would just have to use sick leave.
Once upon a time, at the beginning of the pandemic, there was an 80 hours of emergency sick leave. Unfortunately, that expired on December 31st of 2020. That was only in place in year one. There was also once upon a time where if I was out of everything and I'm sick, individuals were allowed to go into negative sick leave. That too has ended. That ended a while back as well. So there might still be one or two folks that still have a negative sick leave bank, but now every time they get paid, they're just paying back that negative balance. So those two definitely have changed from May of 2020, when the pandemic began, to current January 2022. Now, police officers, if it is a police officer, someone in the police department, they will work in all likelihood with a district office, because there are a couple of other little state law provisions with regards to police officers only as first responders. Okay.
Elizabeth, there was a question in the chat about if someone's in the hospital unable to speak, could we speak to the relative of that person?
Yes. When someone's in the hospital and they cannot speak, by all means, yes. You want to have somebody contact the supervisor. Hey, Susie Q cannot come. She is hospitalized and she is in a ventilator. Obviously, they can't speak for themselves. So yes, we will speak to a relative under those circumstances. If the person can speak for themselves, we might just ask them, hey, would you give us permission to speak to John Doe about Susie Q's information? Okay. And if we don't hear from somebody, there have been cases where a wellness check has been done. And for those of you that don't know what a wellness check means, that the police department will come and knock on someone's home just to make sure that they're okay. Because tragically, things happen and we sometimes don't know what happened and nobody's heard from them. And they're otherwise somebody who you would have heard from. So wellness checks can be can be performed.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you
You're
so much for that information. That's really helpful. Are there any other follow-up questions, comments?
Jeff, I just want to add, if you do have a question and you're more comfortable emailing it to me, that's fine as well. Please do so. I just want to collect all those questions for y'all so we can get y'all the answers as soon as possible.
Lizette and I definitely work together. I will, if I get questions that she needs to be aware of, I will definitely send them to her, and I'll copy the employee. Hey, this is something Lizette could better handle. And likewise the other way, if Lizette gets a question that maybe I need to handle, she'll send them my information. And the two of us together, we're here for you, and we want to help and support PAC employees.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
So we have our last piece that I know is a question of all questions that come directly to Ms. Destiny is, are we having events? How does that go? We have 3 top questions that we have. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Destiny.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'll be very brief as I do have an event owners training tomorrow. I did send out the invite to all event owners. If you did not receive it and would like to participate in the training tomorrow, please send me an email and I'll send you the invite. But I'm just going to go over a few of our frequently asked questions. Will we have in-person events? As of right now, things are changing every day, so we'll begin to adjust the number of on-site events, definitely. As we're monitoring the levels and infection rates in our community, we want to give students the best possible service to get connected to aid in their success by focusing on safety. So in-person events, we're asking that we, for the next couple of weeks, we do prefer virtual events. If you had an event scheduled already, you'll be contacted, or if you haven't been contacted, please send us an email at PAC-events and we'll get with you on that. But we're asking if we can move towards virtual events at this time. Another frequently asked question, is there a capacity limit? Yes, there is. As we're going to move forward, as we maybe slowly move away from the virtual events, maybe in February or early March, we will have a capacity limit. Any event that you feel needs to be 50 plus, 100 plus, please send that request to us, and that will have to be approved by VPCS and possibly Dr. Garza as well. Let's see what else. Through February, oh, can you go back one? Sorry. So February through May, like I mentioned, recommend that events be virtual as much as possible. Drive-through is also a possibility like we did before, although we don't ask that. I know we had a event request form previously in the fall, and that's what we utilized for drive-through and on-site events. We're doing away with that. So it's going to be back to, a footprints ticket if you have a request, or email us at PAC-events. We'll get your requests and then we'll follow up with you guys. Next slide, please. And then again, what is the current event process? I did mention the event form is no longer needed, but I did send out an email right before the break asking for the master calendar of events. We're going to go back to that. I will send a follow-up email on that, but if you all know that you're going to have virtual or wanting to have on-site events in the near future, please fill out that master calendars template, send it to us so that we can get as much virtual and on-site events as possible on that listing. It just makes it easier for us to follow up with any events that are coming up. What else here? So again, we are having a event owners training tomorrow at 1:30. If you did not receive the invite, please email me and I'll be glad to send you that Zoom link for that. But like I did mention before, things are changing on a daily basis, so please be patient with us. Send us an email to PAC-events or myself, and we'll get back to you. Is there any questions?
We have everyone's contact information. I didn't put cell phone. I know they're so lovely to give you their cell phone numbers, which is fine, but I just put the regular phone numbers and emails. So if you already have their cell phone numbers, by all means, you can use it. But this is the contact information of everyone who presented today. I will email this slide to Amanda, so you have that as a reference point as well if you have any additional questions. As Destiny mentioned, she is conducting an event owner training tomorrow, so she'll go more in depth about the event pieces and the safety protocols that we want to take, and the limiting of on-site and virtual events that are upcoming for the spring. It continues to change. We take it, like we say, we're taking it one day at a time, one breath at a time, as Catherine says. So that's what we've been doing, because we got an email yesterday and it was changed from just a week ago, right? So we're just trying to make those adjustments, adapt to it. My team has been real resilient. Everyone here has been very resilient, patient, and they show up to work. They're the frontline individuals, and we appreciate them on a daily basis. So like I mentioned, just be patient with us. We're learning as we go, and I know questions come, and I know Murph and HR team and everyone have been willing to answer the best that they can. So we don't have the answer at the time. We'll try to find the answer for you. So thank you for joining us. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email any of us, myself is included, and VP DOS as well.